my gamer tag is Hitoru, or rather, that's what I go by in a virtual space or at conventions. Um, this is honestly my first panel, so go easy on me today. We'll be going over the basics, so if it seems like a lot, please don't get discouraged, because I'm going to give y'all some workarounds to shorten the process or to show areas where you may need a certain skill. This panel is more like the big picture look and not a step-by-step tutorial, but however, at the end, uh, I will, if you want, I'll go over like this is what you start with. This is next. This is next. This is next. And we can do that. That's fine. I don't mind. Um, and I'll be providing some advice and tips and tricks mixed in so that it's more feasible and not a monumental task. Anyone can make a fursuit, so with that, let's get cracking. And I'm going to turn off my camera and turn on my stream. Da, 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 da. Maybe. Yes, I am. Okay. Here we are. It's very bright and shiny. Alright. Oh my gosh. I closed all this crap. Get out of here. Alright. So making a fursuit, art, engineering, and reality. The panel is 60 minutes, but hopefully my notes aren't too long. If you have a question, what I'll do is I'll go through the panels and then after or the slide and after at the end of each slide I'll stop so if someone wants to ask a question you can. Okay? Um so what is a fursuit? A fursuit is a wearable sculpture. They aren't just a costume. You can see this in the build process and what it takes to construct one. They're a performance costume. Fursuits, depending on the character, may include like character acting. For instance, some characters could be cutesy. You see a lot of this with like Dutch angel dragons. That's like a specific type of fursuit. They're like these. It's almost like looking at like cute stylized Yoshis, and they like squeak, and they act very cute. Like you'll see them like they'll be like hopping around and they'll be like high-fiving people. And then you have some characters that are like stand offish. For instance, my character here on the screen, this is Lady Blackmane, and she's a pirate captain who's more standoffish. So when I walk in costume, I walk with purpose, shoulders back, hand on the sword pommel, and I like confidently stride. So it's like it's also, and you don't have to put in performance when you're doing this. You can just start with building your fursuit, but if that's something you want to consider, you might want to think about that while you're working on it. Like what sort of character is it? Is it a character or is it just a suit? You know? Um, you have to think about engineering and comfort. Fursuits are a balance of these two things. For instance, you may want wings, but as we'll talk about wings later, there's a lot that goes into it. But we literally break down engineering and comfort later, and you'll see why it's such a big thing. And then personal art. For some fursuits, it's not only a wearable art installation, but they reflect the maker and the character, and they reflect the maker's skill, or they're a 3D reflection of a 2D character. A lot of people in the fandom have actual custom character rights. Does anyone have any questions before we move on to the next slide? Okay, moving on. The skill stack. Um, there's a lot in here. I don't want you to be overwhelmed. You don't have to have all these skills at the beginning, but you will learn some of them. All these pictures actually in this slideshow are pictures that I've taken during the process. The first thing, drawing and design. This helps get your ideas on paper and simplifies things. I have a fursuit notebook where I'll draw out an idea and an innovation for suits. For instance, I had to make wings, and they were like, I've never made wings before, and they're incredibly, I'll be honest, they're very difficult to make, and you really have to think about it. So I started drawing them out in my little notebook. And I did the same with like I came up with I'm trying not to say this part. I mean, I'll give this part. At the back of a fursuit, there is normally a hole for the tail to go in through. And a lot of people have these like stretchy belts that they tighten. And I thought that was just kind of like lame because I'm like, man, it could fall down. So what I ended up doing is I built in belt loops into the suit itself so that like right where the hole is to help keep it up so it makes it easier. So anyways, drawing and design, and I drew that out actually in my little book. Foam carving. So if you see this picture down here in the middle, there is some foam carving involved if you want to start from scratch, and we'll talk about that towards the end, like ways to save time. Because part of this, if you look, part of it is not sculpted, and part of it is, and this actually helps you save time. Um, Now, also, foam carving is good because if you're wanting to do a digigrade suit, there's a lot more you have to do with carving. And then also parts like the tail, horns, wings, spikes, ears, foot paws, hand pads, stuff like that.
I'm sorry, Hitoru.
Oh,
I just want to say, please mute your mic if you're in call. Continue.
you don't mean me, right? I can keep.
No, everyone
Okay.
else mute. You keep talking. Thank you.
Oh, Princess gets to keep talking. Woo woo. I'm excited. Sorry, little joke there. Patterning. If you look on this picture right here on the left, patterning is needed to break the suit down into easy parts and is your cheat sheet when cutting fabric pieces. We go into this a bit more later. Um, like I talk about how you're gonna make your patterns specifically later in the presentation. Sewing. So hand sewing and machine sewing is a must. You don't have to be an expert at either. You really just need to learn the blanket stitch for hand sewing. It's a very easy stitch. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube about it. And basically how to get a sewing machine going. Mine, and there's a picture of mine right here. Mine is an old Brothers from Walmart. It's a basic. Oh, there is strong language, by the way, in this presentation. Um, it is a basic bitch machine that was $50. I didn't watch the tutorial. I just figured out how to get it going and essentially held down the pedal and fed the fabric through. So you don't have to be an expert. Like literally hand sewing, you just need to learn the blanket stitch, and machine sewing, you really just need to figure out how to make the machine go. Um,
Please mute your mic.
okay.
Doctor, please mute your mic.
Oh,
Uh,
sorry. My apologies.
Thank you. Sorry
so
about that.
next, that's okay. Painting and detailing. Some painting may be needed, typically not a lot. Some people airbrush their suits, but you don't have to. Airbrushing is, I do not do airbrushing myself just because I didn't feel like investing into a compressor or any of that.
I apologize for the interruptions. I need to fix the permissions in the channel.
Okay, it happens. Um, But detailing isn't just about painting. For instance, fur shaving is a huge detail, and we'll get into the trials and tribulations of fur shaving. Fur shaving is very important, and I suggest practicing on a piece of extra fur first because you cannot undo something you've taken off with fur shaving. Problem solving. You're going to run into a lot of problems. Don't get discouraged. Think of it as a time to figure out a creative solution. You are essentially, while you're doing this, you are a scientist. Think of it like that, and you're trying to figure out creative ways to get around things. Like I said, you don't need all these skills at the beginning. You'll actually pick them up as you go. Like, don't be all like, oh, I need to start doing this now. No, no, no. Just as with any project, start. Just start it because you can learn the stuff as you go. It's easier to pick up so you're not doing everything at once. Because when you start it all at the beginning, you get overwhelmed. And I'll even be showing like things you can skip, which is awesome. Okay, so from character to form. So these are pictures that one's a reference sheet that I did for someone. And then you can see the drawing on the side there, like right here, with the gray saber tooth looking toony thing. Um, those were drawings where I was figuring out how my markings are gonna go, how the teeth should curve, So that was actually, this one was actually my first one that I ever built. Parfait. And, all right. So from character to form, the reference sheets matter. Reference sheets are a cheat sheet while making your suit. The better the reference sheet, the easier time you'll have making the suit. You typically want a front, a back, and a side can be helpful as well. Like, for instance, this one I didn't need it because you can see that the stripes go on the front and then they mirror on the back so that you know that it goes across the side. So I didn't need the side. So sometimes you might need the side if, like, say a marking is on the side and not on the front or the back. So then that's a bit imperative that you need that on the reference sheet. But otherwise, if it's not, you're good. 2D to 3D translation. Start thinking about how certain body parts or markings will translate to the suit slash costume. For instance, everyone always goes big on their first one. Like, they'll overcomplicate it like heck. Like, they'll be like, oh, I want to make a tiger, a zebra, or a leopard. The reason why I'm mentioning these specific ones is because each of them are very intricate patterns. You essentially have to sew in each stripe. And unless you get custom faux fur with the pattern you want already, like, dyed into it. Otherwise, you're sewing in each stripe by hand, so I always say to simplify. More markings equals more labor cost slash time. So simplify it, simplify it. This particular character, their original cheat sheet, they had their whole bottom legs were actually all stripes. And I said, look, and I talked to the uh, owner of this, and I said, look, I'm going to simplify this. I go, because otherwise I have to sew in each and every stripe, and that'll, like, up the time for you to get your suit. And I had a mad deadline on this. I set the deadline myself because I wanted to get the person their suit before a convention that me and my friends were going to. So if you're commissioning, if you're going to do a first one, don't do it as a commission. Like, that's absolutely first. Make your own first. And simplify it. And I mean, if you want to put in a couple stripes, sure, but pay attention to how long it takes to sew in every single stripe, because every one that's sewn in, you're most likely going to have to hand sew. So it's a lot. Also, your style choices. It's toony versus realistic, and I put a picture down here kind of this. This one here is toony. This suit, actually, I helped finish. Their maker before them did not finish it, so it was mostly pretty much almost